Hello everybody and welcome back to Series 3. This is video 6, I believe, and we're working in Corel Painter 2023 and we're doing this thing called Step by Step. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to show you how I approach learning a new version of Painter. All right, so we've been talking about selections and selection brushes and stuff. So usually what I need to do is go back and review some basic things about whatever functions we're talking about. I find that I need to, quote unquote, relearn things. What I want to do is go back to the basics of selections and just kind of review what that's all about. And I may have forgotten some things that might be useful with using selections with all of the new information that we have. So the first thing I want to do is look at, we have path-based selections and pixel-based selections. Path-based selections means that a whole path is selected. It's black and white. So the rectangular selection tool, if I just come over here and do this, and let's make the overlay show. All right, so that is path-based. In other words, everything here is selected as one basic selection. It's black and white. These are all turned on. These are all turned off. That kind of thing. If I do come over here, get rid of that, and come over here to the oval tool, the same thing occurs. We get a black and white sort of setup. It's on-off. This is a path-based selection. And I have the other option here of if I start using the oval tool, start using it, you see I've got an oval. If I hold down my Shift key, it turns into a circle. So I can create an oval or a circle with by touching the Shift key. Okay. If I go to the rectangular selection tool, the same thing is true. Just starting, I can get a selection, but if I hold the Shift key down, I now am creating a square as opposed to a rectangle. Okay. Now, another thing that's possible here, remember we have these modes up here. And so if I'm in this mode, every time I start a new selection, I get rid of the old one. Now I can set it up that every time I add a selection, it's going to be added to the previous selection. So my selections are not going to disappear. Or I can set this one up. Come on. All right, let's try. My pen doesn't want to click it. Let's go here. There we go. Now that means that anytime I make a selection, well, that's weird. What's going on here? Let's reset. Maybe. Let's see here. It might be that my my Wacom has died on me like it did once before. Let's just double check because something's not working. Yep, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and go fix this. I've already showed you how I fix it in a previous version. So excuse me for a moment while I go and fix my problem. Talk to you in a second. Okay, it should be fixed now. I hope this is not going to happen. I have this happen on a regular basis sometimes, and It may mean that I need to go and check or reload the drivers for Wacom, something like that, to get it all fixed. But anyway, where we were, we had selected this mode, and if I then go in with my selection tool, it subtracts from the selection like that, okay? However, now, let's go back to this mode, and let's just do a rectangle, and everything disappears except for that one. When I don't want to go up here and click this or this, no, not really. What I want to do is hold down the Shift key and make my selection. If I hold down the Shift key and make a selection, it will add it, even though this is not set up, it will add that selection to that one. So that's a quick way to get to that. If I hold down my, my Alt key, let me find it, there it is, and I do the same thing, it subtracts. Now, in the case of a Mac, you don't hold the Alt key down, you hold the Option key. So holding the Alt or Option key will subtract, holding down the Shift key in both versions will add. Okay, so that's another short, quick deal. Now, these are path-based selections. As I mentioned, the whole area is selected as one selection. It's not, each pixel is exactly the same. Pixel-based selections means that one pixel can have 100% opacity, and the one right next to it can have a 20% opacity because they're not path-based. Each pixel decides whether it's black or white or some variation of gray. So let's get rid of this. And how does that happen? It's going to happen with things like the Magic Wand. And what I'm talking about is selecting, going to a particular layer and selecting what's in that layer. So for instance, if I go down here to layer 2, I'm only going to be selecting this purple and this orange because not all layers are active. It's going to only select from the active layers. So let's take this Magic Wand and see what I'm actually talking about. So if I take the Magic Wand and I just drag it right on that orange, that's all that gets selected. If I drag it on just the purple, that's all that gets selected. If I drag it between the two, and I don't even have to drag, real far on it, I'm going to get both of them selected at the same time. That's pretty cool. Now, again, I'm in this, one selection thing. If I drag here and select that, and I want to get another color added to it, all I have to do is hold the Shift key down. If I can find it, Shift key, and just drag in the other area, and it now selects both colors. Now, actually, I said that wrong. You know what? Bad mistake. I've been dragging, and that's where I was talking about. That's what made it bad. Let's go back here for a second. You don't need to drag. You just touch, and that picks the selection. Touch here, and that picks the selection. Hold the Shift key down, and that gets both colors. Now, the dragging has to do with range of color. For instance, let's turn off this blue so we can see the screen here. If I just select the green, don't forget that you have to be on the layer, okay? So I want to get rid of that selection. Now, if I just touch that green, look at what happened. Why did it go that far? Shouldn't have. There we go. All right, somehow or another, I probably drug it some sort of way, or I picked an area that wasn't just the red. And I want to change my preset. Okay, why is it not doing that? Let's go back to Ruby, then we go to skip. There we go. I don't know why it does that. A little glitch, I guess. Okay, so now I've selected my overlay is that sort of pink, and it's 50%, so we'll be able to see what's below. All right, let's do that again. I'm going to get rid of my selection. I just come in and touch, and I get, based on the tolerance, I get a selection. Now, let's take this back down to the default, which has a tolerance of 32. And we tap there, and you see we got less. So again, more on the tolerance will give you more. Reduce the tolerance, and you will get less tolerance. What that means is you're talking about a range. All right, so you have a range of light green to a range of dark green. And wherever you touch, whatever single point you touch, you're going to pick up a range on either side of that single point based on your tolerance. Higher tolerance gets more color, less tolerance gets less. Okay, so if we come down here, it selects that. Now notice again, we're at this new selection. So you're not getting more color, so to speak. So if we get rid of my selection, and we hold the shift key, wait, don't go there first. Let's tap here, and we've got that color. If I hold the shift key down, and I tap on another color, I'm going to get a selection of that color based on the tolerance and all that stuff, okay? So just single tapping with the shift key. Now, if I use the shift key, and I drag across the colors, I'm going to get a combination of those two colors, and again, depending on the tolerance. So if I increase this tolerance, say to, oh, come on, let's go up to about 75. Oh, I just got Camtasia coming on, and I don't want it coming on. Sorry. And what I need to do is go up here, and we're going to turn touch off so that won't give us any problems. Okay, so my tolerance level now is up to 75. So if I hold my shift key down and drag, look at that, I got lots more of the two colors. So this is kind of doing the same sort of thing that the color select is doing, but it's doing it with selection tools rather than a selection brush. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that if I am using a selection brush, this is a selection brush there. So if I tap, no, that did not work. Let's hold down the shift key. No. Shift key drag. No. All right, so the selection brush is not using the same shortcuts that I use. Interesting. I would have thought they did, but it makes sense that they don't. So what we've learned here is we we've got some shortcut keys that will allow us to make selections of stuff that's already there. The Magic Wand is a very useful tool for doing all of that. If, on the other hand, if you do this, if you select, let's hold down our Shift key and select layer 2 here. And let's go back to our Magic Wand. Now what's going on is if I were to hold the Shift key down and go across like that, I got everybody. I shouldn't have. Oh, I know. We got to take our tolerance back down to 32, and really a little less might be better. Now I'm just going to run through like that. Didn't work. Okay, maybe this doesn't work. Let's see. This has to work. All right, maybe I probably didn't turn off the previous selection. Let's see if that was it. There we go. But notice that the selection, let's get rid of this layer and we'll add another layer, and I just want to right click. Let's see. Is right click what I want? Yeah. Right click and then fill. Oh shoot, the thing is going long and I didn't want it to take up this much time. Let's go back to here. Get rid of my selection. See, this is what I mean by I have to review and try to relearn this stuff. So if I pull this down here, that's going to select both. If I hold my Shift key down and pull here, that's what I would expect. To do them both ways would work. And if I hold the Shift key and I make those two, and I do that, it's still just selecting the layer that I have selected that was the original selection. Interesting. So I don't believe we can select multiple layers here. It really surprises me. I thought, in my mind says you can do that. Let's try these two bottom ones. That, again, it selected everything and left some of it off. Okay, so I'm pretty sure now from that, what I'm doing now is that I cannot do what I thought I could do by selecting layers. All right, so again, this is a good way of working because you go back and you kind of relearn this stuff. And we've learned some shortcuts for these particular types of selections that may be helpful. Sorry about this video going a bit long, but that's the end of this video. I'll be back in a minute and we'll talk some more about some of this. I think we're still going to stay with selections for a little bit longer. Okay, talk to you later.